murder that occurred up in Pinyon Pines. And on today's anniversary of those horrific crimes, there are still no answers as to who did it and why.
The Riverside County Sheriff's Department has been investigating the case since day one, but it appears to have gone cold. Even though friends and family of those close to the victims have come forward, even pointing fingers at an ex-boyfriend of the youngest victim, Becky Friedli. Now new allegations are surfacing that there are conflicts of interest within the Sheriff's Department that are holding up the case. Tonight in this exclusive interview, we asked the Riverside County Sheriff's Department directly about these allegations.
It's really hard. It just, like I said, I haven't been back up here in 7 years. And I knew. I couldn't handle it. I couldn't have came up before this.
Ron Friedli visits the site where his daughter, ex-wife, and her boyfriend were brutally murdered and set on fire September 17th, 2006. It took Ron 5 months to build the house that once sat here. It was burned down when the three were murdered.
What Becky and Vicki and John had to go through that night. I mean, if it happened to me, I couldn't even imagine. I served in the Army, spent 26 years with the Sheriff's Office, 12 years on the SWAT team. I've been shot at before. I know what it's like. But it's different when you have a gun and you can shoot back. I can't even imagine being in your own home, feeling safe, and suddenly people burst in and shots fired. I can only imagine it. As a father, I just wish I would have been there. I think about what it would have been like if I was a kid and that happened. I'd have wanted my parents. I'm sure she wanted hers.
18-year-old Becky Friedli, her mother Vicki Friedli, and John Hayward all died that night. No arrests have been made. Ron Friedli and the rest of the victims' families have grown increasingly frustrated with the Riverside County Sheriff's Department, which has been investigating the crimes. They have seen no progress made in the case and have started to wonder if there is something holding up the investigation, like a conflict of interest based on Ron Friedli's years of employment with the Sheriff's Office and friendships with the investigators assigned to the case, or the possibility that people with information on the case and those who committed the crimes may be related to local law enforcement officers. I asked the Riverside County Supervising Lieutenant in charge of this cold case about these allegations. Becky, the youngest victim, her father was a retired lieutenant within the Sheriff's Department. Some people are saying that that's a conflict of interest. Do you agree with that, or can you see how that would be?
I don't understand how that would be a conflict of interest. I don't. I knew Ron Friedli. Ron Friedli was a friend of mine. I don't even understand that question.
Even if one of the investigators had been a friend of his, one of the initial investigators, that wouldn't have been a conflict of interest in investigating the case?
No, and many times, believe it or not, we do know people within the community that of an investigation we're handling, so it's not as uncommon as people would think. We do live in the community just like everybody else, so the odds are eventually we are going to run into investigations where we actually know these people. In this case, we did know Mr. Friedli.
Local defense attorney John Patrick Dolan says what looks like a conflict to someone may not to someone else, and that could jeopardize a prosecution.
Well, clearly that could be a potential issue for defense to say that this was sort of hometown treatment and that the investigation wasn't as thorough as it might be, or maybe the investigation was overzealous and ended up with a selective prosecution result. So it is very important to be careful, because in one sense the Sheriff's Department might be protecting itself and feel that there's no problem. In another sense, there may be a problem created that would be cashed in upon by a defense lawyer if indeed that prosecution took place.
If conflicts of interest do arise in a case, the next step is for it to be handed over to another agency, such as the Attorney General's office or the FBI. And according to John Patrick Dolan, these allegations need to be taken seriously, and at the least, another investigating agency needs to be consulted. To our knowledge, the Riverside County Sheriff's Department hasn't done that. Meanwhile, sheriff's investigators say they continue to work the case and are getting closer to arrests.
I believe that we're coming to some sort of conclusion. We do have suspects out there, and we're getting closer.
Can you name the suspects?
No, not at this point.
But there are people that
we have people that, yeah, we believe are responsible for this crime.
Are they a threat to anybody else at this point?
No.
But Ron Friedli believes whoever did this will kill again.
And I believe in my heart having spent as long as I have in law enforcement, these type of people that did this, they're going to do it again. I believe it would be hard the first time, but after you kill 1, 2, 3, it doesn't matter anymore.
If you have any information on this case, you're asked to call the Riverside County Sheriff's Department. You can reach investigators at the phone number here on your screen, 951-955-2777. And more people are coming forward to KMIR and bringing us new information on this story. We're going to keep following the case and, of course, update you as it progresses.
Now, you've been following this case for a long time, and you've managed to shake loose some questions, at least, that weren't initially asked. When he says they're close to an arrest 7 years later, are you buying it?
Well, you know, I don't know what they know. It's a closed investigation, and they aren't allowing any details out to the public or to me. I know the family certainly is frustrated by this, and they keep telling me when I say, well, I've talked to the Sheriff's Department, and they say they're close, they say, we've heard that year after year. So we will see, and of course, we're going to stay on top of the story for you.